Sweaty. Sweaty from a moto. Thirsty. I ride. What's up everybody, I'm Mitch. Thank you so much for checking out yet another video on my Fit for Moto YouTube channel where we talk about all things motocross, man. Now in this video in particular, I want to talk to you about something that you have to do if you want to get faster on the bike. There is no way around this. Every single fast rider that you see does this a lot. Now what is that thing? Can you guess it? Well, if you can't, I'm just going to tell you, it's standing. Now I know what you're thinking. Dude, you've said this before, we've heard this before. Stand up, stand up, stand up. I really need to highlight the importance of that, and I want to talk to you about why that's so important in this video. This last year, actually the last couple years, I've been doing a ton of coaching, which is really awesome because it really gives me a good idea of what is common amongst newer riders or riders that still need some work on their technique. And I'm including myself in that. Honestly, if I see a video of myself, I identify stuff that I need to work on. But one of the things that I constantly find is newer riders, they sit down way too much. Now, if you've seen one of my other videos about hovering above the seat, that's a whole other thing. But what I'm talking about is there's newer riders, literally, they just like to sit. Now, one, it can be because you're not fit enough to stand. Standing takes a lot of energy and it makes you tired a lot quicker. I get that. But number two, standing can be a little scarier. So what I see a lot of newer riders doing is they just stay seated because this is comfortable, this is normal to them, this is where they feel a little safer. But what you need to do is you need to work on your stand-up game. And I've done videos about some of this before, but I just felt like I really needed to discuss it again because it's that important. So when you're standing on the bike, there's a couple things that you want to do that make a huge difference in terms of your technique and your ability to go fast. When you're sitting on the bike, every single thing that ground or happens in the ground in the rear tire is going to get translated through the suspension, through the chassis, through your butt, your hips, your back, and into your head. So you just start getting just rocked around. And no matter, it seems like how much I harp on this for technique, people still just can't get through it, that they have to stand more. So here's what I'm talking about. When I say stand, I don't mean do this. I don't mean stand up straight with your hips locked out. In one of the other videos that I did, I talked about the ability to hover on the seat. When I'm talking about standing, I'm talking about hovering. There's only, 4 to 6 inches between my butt and the seat. My toes are pointed in, my knees are locked into the bike, my hand placement is correct, and you're in that attack position on the bike. This is still standing. This is no good. This is standing. And that's what I'll call level 1 of standing on the bike. Get comfortable standing more on the bike, okay? It's really important that you learn to do that. I'm telling you, it will help huge with your ability to get over and around a lot of obstacles. Like I said, when you're sitting, every single input on that bike will get translated into you when you're sitting on it, and you just get kicked around like crazy. Whereas if you're standing on the bike can move around underneath you, it can do all this weird stuff, not gonna bother you. It's okay. If you've ever ridden a dirt bike before, you know what it's like when you're standing and you're hitting all these bumps and the bike's doing all this stuff. And it's totally fine, right? It's not a big deal. But when you're sitting and you're going over even the smallest stuff, you're getting booted around. That doesn't change when you're going into a corner, when you're going over any obstacle. You have to stand more. When you stand and you're in that attack position, your body and your bike will work as one unit, and you will be able to absorb the chop and absorb whatever stuff is happening on the track and make minor movements quicker. And what that all translates into is your ability to stay on the gas, because when you're sitting down, every time you hit some chop, you're just shutting off the gas, right? You get hit a braking bump, you're shutting off the gas. When you're standing up and you're allowing the chassis to work as it should, you can just stay on the gas. That's gonna make you faster. Furthermore, if you just let the chassis work like it's supposed to and you're not getting kicked around all over the place because you're standing more, that is also going to make you safer too, because there's just not all this weird stuff that's gonna happen. I've just seen so many people have bad crashes that should have never happened simply because they were sitting too much. They just couldn't get up on the pegs, get into that hover position that I call it, and get to work doing that attack position. Now level 2 would be standing up, into some of the bermed corners and stuff like that, where you're not so much in the hover position, but you're standing up quite high and you're leaning over the front of the bike. You may see me do this when I'm going around, when I'm standing up around some of the longer corners, or even actually some of the tighter corners, if I take an inside line, you'll see me dip into the corner and I'll have my chin over the handlebars on the bike. That's what I'm going to call standing level 2. A little more advanced. So depending on where you're at as a rider, you know, you can work on level 1, level 2, entirely up to you. I just can't harp on enough. You need to get standing more, okay? Now, that's it, man. Try those things out. So there's the hovering, and as a level 1, just getting in that attack position, making sure that your butt is off the seat. So every time it comes up, it's got space to move, and the chassis has room to work and do what it's supposed to do. Level 2 is standing up around some of the other corners, where you're actually leaning over quite a bit over the bike, okay? I hope that helps, man. Smash subscribe for me, and if you head over to the website, fitformoto.com, head over to the Patreon, I'm gonna give you how I would work on this as a lesson plan so that you can work on it when you go out and do some riding and make you safer and faster. So I hope to see you over on the Patreon side with the extended version of the video. We'll see you then.